Hey everyone, French Tutor here. Last night, the game just dropped their 2.1 drip marketing, and they just revealed the 2 limited time characters for the 2.1 banners. And if you played the main story for Renacita, you've probably seen Phoebe and Brant. So in this video, I'm going to deep dive and tell you about my predictions and of how these characters may work. Oh, and by the way, if I'm wrong about something, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to really deeply analyze everything. So apologies if something doesn't come out to be true. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay, let's start off with Phoebe. She's going to be a 5-star spectral rectifier character, and I think that's very fitting of her. They don't really tell you what her role is in a team, but there are a lot of clues to decide what she may be. Okay, so let's take a look at the Eternal Radiance new spectral set. So just applying Spectral Frazzle, you're going to increase your crit rate by 20% for 15 seconds. That's actually a lot, and that's amazing that a Sonata set can do that. Okay, well first, what the heck is Spectral Frazzle? It's basically a debuff where you take spectral damage over time. So the stacks are stackable, and it's going to reduce periodically by 1. And once you get 10 stacks of Spectral Frazzle, you get a 15% spectral damage bonus for 15 seconds. So adding damage like that makes her a main DPS or a sub DPS. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's going to be a main DPS. There is one big clue that kind of leads you to that. You might have already known that Spectral Rover's kit got changed a little bit just to add Spectral Frazzle. So as you can see here from his liberation, you're going to apply 6 stacks of Spectral Frazzle. So that's 6 already. And his Forte circuit is a little bit complicated, but pretty much his resonance skill is going to apply 2 stacks, and if you read a little more, there's another resonance skill, so that's going to be another 2 stacks, so in total 10 stacks. So Spectral Rover was never a main damage dealer, so I believe MC is going to take the role of sub DPS and supporting Phoebe. And this is fair, they are giving us a free character to work with the new damage over time mechanics. And just as a bonus, if you unlock Rover's 6th wave band, their resonance skill will reduce the target spectral damage resistance by 10%. So definitely, yes, so you're going to do more spectral damage with Phoebe, and then probably the damage over time will increase as well since the spectral damage resistance is going down too. Rover would be a very solid support for Phoebe. Okay, easy. Apply the 10 stacks and then Phoebe's off to go and do a lot of damage. And I'm sure she can add stacks for the sub DPS as well so that they can do some damage. So yeah. So our first 5-star limited character rectifier damage dealer, that is very exciting. Also, as of now, from what we've seen, Spectral Frazzle doesn't do that much damage. So I'm not sure how it's going to scale exactly. So either Phoebe is going to do a good amount of damage and then a small damage over time, or she does decent damage and then you get large numbers of damage over time. But I think it might be the former, just doing a good amount of damage and then plus some DOT. What I'm predicting is that they're going to make this damage over time meta, and there might be a character who can increase the damage of debuffs. Basically, Spectral Rover is not going to be her endgame best support. They're usually going to release them later, and then you'll have to wish for them, and yeah. From the pattern we've seen every 5-star limited character get another 5-star support that works super well with them. So Phoebe's going to get somebody who can definitely help her with her damage over time or her Spectral Frazzle abilities. And I'm guessing it's that person we met at the end of the Renacita story. No spoilers, but I have a feeling that they might be the best support for Phoebe, or just characters who apply debuffs. Like a support where if you have a debuff, you'll take this amount of damage more. Just my predictions. Okay, and let's look at her potential weapons. So I'm pretty sure they're going to make her good with the cosmic ripples. And hopefully she uses a lot of basic attacks or skills off of basic attacks, because other rectifiers are not that good actually. The other 2 options are going to be the Jinjo Keeper and the Fusion Accretion. Both are good, but maybe the Fusion Accretion might be helpful so that she can apply maybe her Liberation and apply some Frazzle stacks before she can switch to her sub DPS so that they could do some damage. But Jinjo Keeper is always just like a good standard 4-star weapon. But no like synergy with characters. You know, this is all just very general stats, just attack and attack percent. So hopefully the Cosmic Ripples with the basic attack damage can really help her out. So which probably means like if you don't want to use Spectral Rover, you can use maybe Sanhua. But I think Spectral Rover would be better. For Phoebe's main echo, it's probably going to be Nightmare Morning IX. It works with the Eternal Radiance set. Surprisingly, it only gives 12% spectral damage bonus. I think just regular Morning IX gives liberation damage as well. But you will do more damage with the Echo skill itself, since once the enemies have Spectral Frazzle applied on them, this damage will increase by 100%. You know, not 100% sure, but you know, I am going to start pre-farming for Morning IX because I do want to get Phoebe. So yeah, pretty excited for Phoebe. Hopefully, just like in the story, she seems to get along with Echoes, so hopefully maybe she can, like in her kit, she would work with Echoes or something or fight with them. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, and the next character is going to be Brant. He's going to be a 5-star fusion sword character, which kind of makes sense. Like if you see on his right here, I think even in the story he was using a sword. Okay, so out of all the Sonata sets, if we want to make sense out of his fusion attribute, it would make sense that he's actually using Tide Breaking Courage. Now, if you take a look at this Echo, if you equip this, you're going to get a 12% fusion damage and a basic attack damage bonus. Okay, so now we can assume he probably is going to scale off basic attack damage. So let's dive deeper a little bit with this Sonata set, since we don't really have anyone that can really utilize this yet, I guess. So 2-piece set, you get 10% energy regen, and then increases the Resonator's attack by 15%. That's the first part. And then once you reach 250% energy regen, it increases all your attribute damage, like your elemental damage, by 30%. Yeah, and that's a lot of energy regen required. Okay, so where this comes from is that it's because for your 3-cost echoes, you want to use energy regen, right? Because you can't get 250% energy regen without that. Your main stat on your 3-cost echoes have to be energy regen. So it looks like this 30% is added to the loss of that, right? But if you look at the 3-cost echoes, that's very unfortunate because each 3-cost echo gives 30% attribute damage bonus. So you have 30% and 30% here. So you're kind of missing like 30% elemental damage. But now what if I told you there was a character that can compensate for that damage, that 30% attribute damage loss? This is the only solution, I think. Chang-Li and Brant. As I mentioned in a video last week, I told you there's going to be someone, you know, that's gonna work with Chang-Li, right? So let's take a look at her outro skill. She's going to amplify fusion damage by 20% and liberation damage by 25%. So honestly, it doesn't sound perfect. I think the second half of it is that so that you can use kind of Chang-Li with other characters and she can be flexible. I'm sure Brant still needs to use basic attack damage based on his echo. But still, more liberation damage, that's great. But anyways, yes, they are going to work together really well. So we should assume that Brant's outro skill has to be beneficial for Chang-Li as well. So Brant's outro skill will probably either buff fusion damage bonus or resonant skill damage, because if you look at Chang-Li's kit, like everything is considered resonant skill damage. But with the way the meta is working right now, let's say, you know, like Carlotta and Jeji, like Jeji gives resonant skill damage bonus plus glacial damage bonus, that could be the case where he gives both. And then if Chang-Li gets both, and also has the new resonant skill buff from the Nightmare Infernal Rider, Chang-Li is going to be disgustingly strong. I did predict last time that Chang-Li would do a lot of damage with another sub DPS character, but I think in general, just Brant is going to make Chang-Li even more of a monster, pretty much. And probably there'll be a Chang-Li skin and rerun like right after the banner for Phoebe and Brant, so if you really do like Chang-Li, I suggest you save up. Oh, that's enough about Chang-Li, sorry, she's my favorite character. But let's go back to Brant. Yeah, 250% energy regen, that's a lot. So I think his weapon is going to be very important too. So I think a decent option could be like the Emerald of Genesis. The energy regen is kinda low, and then at least you got crit rate, but you know, like it is a pretty balanced weapon to have. But it's looking like the 4-star Overture might be better for him. It has very high energy regen, and it restores Concerto energy so that it could buff up Changli very quickly. So honestly, he's starting to look more like someone to buff Changli. You know, because of that attribute damage loss, and then with having like a 4-star weapon with high energy regen like this, you know, seems like, yeah, he's not gonna do as much damage as I thought. I could be wrong though, like maybe he has other ways of getting energy regen, and hopefully that's the case. So just in case, if you have this weapon, just have it on standby. It's a useful sword anyway for sub DPS supports. And then if you don't have that 4-star weapon, you can also have the Sword of Voyager, which is a common 3-star weapon. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping him to do more damage than I expected, but even if he ends up, you know, being a support for Changli, that's fine. I mean, that's pretty much the meta these days, like 5-star supports for your 5-star limited characters, right? So let's see. Yeah, Brant seems pretty chill. Hopefully they add some like pirate elements to his kit. So let's see what he can do. So now the question is, who should you save up for? Well, first, when you look at them, who do you like better naturally? Maybe you can play the story a little bit and see if you like Phoebe or Brant more. Start off there first. If Phoebe ends up being a main DPS, and you need one, I would go with Phoebe. She's kind of like the new generation of spectral DPS when like previous players like had Jinshi. I think she'll be fun and a great addition to your team to do damage. Okay, and with Brant, I think we have to make the decision like revolved around Changli, honestly. Because seems like Changli is gonna help him with his fusion damage problem, so he'll be much stronger with her. And probably he's going to support a lot of her damage too. But if you're not waiting for Changli's rerun, or Changli in general, you don't really like her, you would probably have to use him for someone that does like resonant skill damage. So yeah, so he could become like a very versatile character, like with Carlotta, Jinshi, Chixia. But yeah, Brant will help out those characters more, but then there's not much in it for Brant himself. Which could be okay, it's up to you, as long as, you know, if you enjoy, let's say you enjoy playing Carlotta or any other, like Jinshi more, and you just want Brant to buff them up a little bit, I think that's fine too. But overall, Brant and Changli, that's the dream team right here. Alright, thank you so much for watching my video today. And remember, I could totally be wrong, so that's just a heads up. If you liked today's video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I kind of plan on making more videos like these, so yeah. Take care now.